Let us go back to the last sentence of the previous canto, 139.28. Before we proceed to the next canto, above, her spirit in its mighty trance saw all, but lived for its transcendent task, immutable like a fixed eternal star. Now, who is this eternal star? It is her spirit above. This eternal star is her spirit above. What we would call the central being of Savitri in the transcendent, or more specifically, the divine Savitri herself. Divine Savitri, in her mighty trance, is seeing all this panorama. Savitri is going through those regions, dreamy, ideal regions, and divine Savitri is seeing from above all that, but lived, although she is there up in the transcendent Jivatma. She is watching this thing for its transcendent task. Savitri has something to do here. Human Savitri, the divine Savitri who has taken the human birth, that human Savitri has something to do here. And it is that something which is being seen, watched by the divine Savitri from above. How she is watching? She is there like a fixed, immutable star, eternal star. Immutable, like a fixed, immutable. That is again characterizing the centrality of her being. Savitri's, divine Savitri's central being. It is always there permanently. It is not in the process of evolution, but from above it watches the process of evolution. Like a fixed eternal star. Now, as I told you last time, fixed eternal star, that is a pole star, as we understand. Pole star always remains fixed because it is exactly above the axis of rotation of the earth pointing. So it does not move at all. It's always permanently there, you see. Whereas all the other stars will move in a dome like that, you see. And as I told you last time, this star in the Indian tradition, in Indian Puranas, is called Dhruva Tara, the star of Dhruva. Dhruva, the boy who did tapasya for 7 years under the initiation of Narad. Narad had given him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And that mantra he was chanting for 7 constant years without a stop. Maybe in between he was eating fruits and roots and things like that, but all the while the mantra was going on in him constantly. Now, so it is Narad who was really the preceptor of Dhruva. He had given him the Diksha, initiation, spiritual initiation to Dhruva, and Dhruva doing that mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In the 1950s, when the mother used to go to the playground, she used to watch movies, cinemas on Saturdays. and one of the movies was about Dhruva. And it is there for the first time she heard this mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. She heard for the first, suddenly she recognized some different power in it immediately. And that mantra became her mantra for japa when she was doing the yoga of physical transformation, the cellular yoga, the yoga of the cells. So that became her mantra. Of course, she made it little shorter. She simply said it, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. That part she has left out. Om Namo Bhagavate. Salutations to the Supreme Lord. Salutations to the Supreme Lord. Namo Bhagavate. That became her mantra. Salutations to the Sovereign Lord. Senor, as she used to say. So when she saw that movie in the playground, that mantra acquired a different significance altogether. We might even give some credit in that sense to Narad for having initiated the mother on the yoga of the cellular transformation. Narad, in that form, he comes in front of her and she immediately catches it, and that becomes the mantra for the physical transformation for her. And she was constantly doing that japa yoga afterwards, you see. So, that fixed eternal star goes as far as the japa yoga for the physical transformation. Dhruva. Om Namo Bhagavate. She was constantly chanting that mantra. And then later on, of course, she even started simply saying, Lord, whatever you will. Senor, Saka tu will. That became constantly his mantra. Whatever you will, whatever you will. So, and all her victory, all her triumph, all her achievements were in that single phrase, Lord, whatever thou willest, whatever thou willest. Everything is condensed. The whole life, spiritual life, the yogic life of the mother is in that one single phrase. Whatever you wish, Lord. In fact, that had been there more or less right from the beginning. Even the prayers and meditations, you have that tone constantly repeating, Sovereign Lord. But here, towards the end, late 1960s, 73 up to, when she says, Lord, whatever thou willest, it became the mantra of the physical. That is most important. Earlier, it could be the mantra of the soul or the spirit of whatever you want to call it. But here, the cells are telling, Lord, whatever you wish. The cell, the physical is responding. So, we can even say that the entire biography of the mother, starting from the prayers and meditations to whatever thou willest, is a continuous progress of her offering, making her will, one, the will of the Supreme, down to the physical. It is the physical which is responding, and that is the greatest thing. And therefore, there is, in a certain sense, a share of glory of Narad for giving that mantra to the mother. Om Namo Bhagavate. That the physical is now responding, which also kind of chronicles the entire spiritual progress. Narad had given to Dhruva the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He has given that thing again to the mother, Om Namo Bhagavate. So the entire spiritual history of thousands and thousands of years is from that phrase to this phrase. It has now come. Narad himself has in a way progressed to bring that mantra down to the physical. It is the physical now which is responding to the glory of the Supreme and to the will of the Supreme. Whatever thou willest, whatever thou willest. And all this entire history is watched by a spirit from above. She is going from life to life. The entire progress is being watched by a spirit from above. From the divine Savitri, the transcendent Savitri, she is watching the whole progress of spiritual growth right from the beginning. That the mantra has now advanced to the point of the physical itself chanting the glory of the Lord. Immutable, therefore, of course, it is immutable. Nothing can change it now. It is fixed. It is there permanently. Like a fixed eternal star. So, in a certain sense, to a little lesser extent, we can say that this eternal star is Narad himself. Who is guiding that thing? Who is constantly in the consciousness of the Supreme. He is chanting constantly, Om Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Wherever he goes, he chants the word Narayana. It's constantly. That is what makes him the eternal star. Constantly chanting the name of the Lord. So, Savitri is seeing is a dream ideal world, vague, etc., all those things. And she sees in that ideal world her lover, her Satyavan, as a captain of her soul, as we have seen. The master, the Lord of her soul. He is the leader of her life. And that is what her spirit from above is watching, is keeping it fixed, so to say. Yes, this is the luminous Satyavan, who is the captain of your soul, you see. Now, it is with that great affirmative statement we are going to see the denial of this affirmation by Mr. Death, Monsieur Death. See. What are you talking? How can it be? This is what you're going to question. You are living in a dream world. You had made a fancy of things and you're enjoying it. But it's all silly, ridiculous. You are a child. You don't understand things at all. How can that glory be here? That is what he is going to insist all along. Therefore, therefore the title is Vanity of the Ideal. He is going to say, you are holding great ideals, but what are these ideals after all? They are vain. They are your imaginations. That is an hallucination. That is a hallucination. They are not really true at all. And you are indulging in those ideals. Forget about that. Live the practical life as it exists now and forget about God and all that, which is not there at all, you see. So that is the denial, you see. Therefore, we have got, then, okay, this canto has only one section. It's a long section. It has 469 lines in all. 469 lines and 125 sentences. 125 sentences. So in one sweep, the gospel is being spelled out, denied, and all that, you see. 469 lines, 125 sentences. 469. 469 lines, 469, and 125 sentences. And there are about, I have sent you the list already, there are about 45 revisions in all in this canto. What we have in 1950, 1951, against that, in the revised edition, there are differences between the two amounting to roughly 45 revisions, changes. Actually, there are two additional lines in the revised edition which are not there here. So, although this first edition has 469 lines, the revised edition has 471 lines. There are a couple of ambiguous revisions, as usual, perhaps. But as we shall proceed, maybe we can look into them.